The story begins with a young girl lying lifeless in the rain. A devastated man kneels beside her body in total despair. Tears stream down his face as he mourns his tragic loss. He remains broken under the cold and relentless downpour. Standing up, he prepares to face the harsh reality ahead. He readies his weapon with a heart full of vengeance. His eyes glow with a fierce determination to never fail. Suddenly, we see him waking up from a terrifying nightmare. The news reports a mysterious creature attacking the city center. A zombie apocalypse has officially begun to ravage the world. His daughter enters the room and asks what he is watching. She stands before him, oblivious to the coming horror. He remembers holding her dying body amidst the burning ruins. The pain of losing her was more than he could bear. In his darkest moment, they both met a tragic end. A majestic golden being appears before his weary soul. Divine light fills the void as feathers float around them. The mysterious entity reveals a chilling and wide smile. Shock and confusion fill his eyes at this strange encounter. He gasps for air as he suddenly jolts awake again. Cold sweat pours down his face in the dark room. He looks around, trying to process his surreal surroundings. A mysterious number appears above his head in the mirror. Overwhelmed by emotion, he strikes the wall in frustration. He desperately calls out for Damie while banging on her door. Damie opens the door looking irritated at the late-night disturbance. He grabs her shoulders to make sure she is truly alive. Realizing the danger, he tightly grips her wrist and pulls her. He commands her to follow without asking any more questions. They sprint through the dark alleyways as he drags her along. He warns her that they will die if they don't hurry. Suddenly, a bloodthirsty zombie lunges at him from the shadows. He wakes up screaming from the terrifying nightmare in his bed. His eyes are wide with shock as sweat pours down his face. He notices a strange blue number hovering right above his head. Confusion fills his mind as he realizes the countdown has changed. He sits alone in the dark room, trembling from the vision. Gritting his teeth, he clutches the blanket with a firm grip. He knows he must do everything to save his precious daughter. The scene shifts to him brutally crushing a zombie's skull. Armed with a golf club, he stands ready for the horde. He carefully hides behind a car to avoid the roaming undead. In a flashback, he sees Damie cornered by a group of monsters. The zombies swarm him as he fights to break free. He reveals a sharp blade, determined to survive the onslaught. Pain sears through him as a zombie sinks its teeth in. Despite the injury, he delivers a crushing blow to the creature. He swings a spiked bat, tearing through the decaying flesh. With one final strike, he sends blood flying into the air. Covered in gore, he stands tall as a protector for Damie. He swings his weapon with everything he has left. Breathing heavily, he stands amidst a mountain of rotting corpses. The weight of his burden is etched deep into his face. Suddenly, a familiar figure emerges from the shadows behind him. He turns around, sensing a presence he thought was long gone. The monster lunges forward with a horrifying, blood-curdling scream. Instead of fighting, he pulls his infected daughter into a hug. Desperate and broken, he prepares to end it all right there. A single tear falls as the darkness finally consumes his vision. He wakes up gasping, realizing it was only a nightmare. Sitting up in the dark, his heart races with lingering fear. Damie wakes up on the floor, confused by her father's state. She walks into the room, asking why he is making noise. He immediately starts packing his gear for the journey ahead. Damie watches him, her eyes filled with worry and confusion. He looks at her with a gaze full of grim determination. Trembling, he reaches out to touch her face once more. He pulls her into a fierce embrace, holding her tight. Every second counts as the world outside continues to crumble. He whispers a solemn promise to keep her safe forever. Even if he fails 1,000,000,000 times, he won't stop. His resolve is hardened by the pain of his recent dream. He tells her to trust him no matter what happens. Damie stares back, wondering why her father looks so different. Through every trial, he will carry her toward a brighter future. He stands above the city, holding her close beneath the sun. Guards scramble as the reality of the collapsing world sets in. A desperate recovery follows, leaving him broken within hospital walls. He dreams of a peaceful world where children can laugh again. 40 years pass, and he returns to her side with flowers. The weight of time has aged him, but his love remains. This final chance is all he has to fix his mistakes. With a heavy heart, he prepares to make the ultimate sacrifice. He knows this sanctuary is the ending they both truly deserve. A single gunshot echoes as he vows to find her again. His eyes snap open, returning to the moment it all began. They stand together, catching their breath in the dim evening light. He feels the weight of every failed timeline on his shoulders. Damie watches him, unaware of the burden her father carries. He grips the door handle with determination born of grief. Memories of her death haunt him like a never-ending nightmare. He blames himself for the tragedy that took her life. This time, he will protect her no matter the cost. Slowly, he opens the door to face the world outside. A single word escapes his lips as his blood turns cold. An endless sea of monsters blocks the path to their freedom. Terror fills his eyes as he witnesses the impossible scale. The streets are flooded with the walking dead, hungry for flesh. Nightmarish faces snarl at him from the center of the swarm. The true struggle for survival starts now in this waking hell. He swings his weapon with everything to protect his only daughter. This cycle of pain is something that has never truly changed. 99 failed attempts haven't dulled his resolve to save her. A wave of vicious monsters rushes toward them without mercy. Their rotted faces and glowing eyes promise only a gruesome end. Shadows of the past flicker amidst the chaos of the present. Standing at the threshold, he prepares for a final stand. Cold, dead hands reach out to claim his very soul. The horde swarms him like locusts devouring a lone field. His daughter screams in terror as she watches her world collapse. With a sudden burst of strength, he shoves her to safety. She falls back into the room, gasping in utter disbelief. He gives one final haunting look before the light fades. The closing door marks the separation of their two worlds. Her eyes widen as she realizes the weight of his sacrifice. A piercing scream of agony echoes through the narrow hallway. She demands to know why he would choose such a fate. Her fists pound against the cold metal door in vain. Outside, the monsters pile up against the thin barrier. He lets out a primal roar as the virus takes hold. A strange blue light flickers within his dying human eyes. Alone in the darkness, she weeps for the father she lost. He is completely swallowed by the relentless sea of the dead. In his final moments, memories of her innocent smile surface. A father's love remains the only light in this dark world. He remembers the warmth of his child's laughter from before the nightmare. Now, a cold glass wall separates him from the daughter he loves. Even with rotting skin, his eyes still search for a way back. The monsters hunt his family, showing no mercy in their mindless hunger. He crushes the skull of anyone who dares to touch his bloodline. The horde swarms over him, trying to tear his fading humanity apart. He grinds his teeth against the insatiable urge to devour the living. Pain floods his dead nerves as the undead feast on his flesh. A primal roar erupts from his lungs, shaking the very foundations. A sudden burst of speed leaves only trails of destruction behind. He stands as an unbreakable wall before the final sanctuary. With one powerful strike, he sends the surrounding monsters flying back. A feral beast lunges at him, its eyes filled with empty hunger. He meets the attacker head-on, refusing to back down an inch. His fist connects with a force that shatters bone and hope. The impact sends a shockwave through the rotting crowd of ghouls. He charges forward, a demon fueled by a father's undying devotion. Turning their own hunger against them, he sinks his teeth into them. He rips the invaders apart piece by piece with savage precision. Blood paints the ground as he asserts his dominance over the dead. He slams his enemies down until the pavement finally cracks open. He launches a monster into the sky with a devastating kick. Their terrifying faces are nothing compared to the fury of a parent. In the shadows of the city, the true king of zombies awakens. He stands alone among the corpses, the ultimate protector of the weak. His presence glows with a power that terrifies the undead around him. The relentless horde screams in agony as they witness his overwhelming strength. Back at home, his daughter waits in fear behind a locked door. A sliver of light breaks through the darkness as the door opens. Tears stream down her face when she sees a familiar figure returning. He stands before her, a blood-soaked shield against a cruel world. Under the cold moonlight, the city of Seoul remains a silent graveyard. They reach the A-Mart, a fortress guarded by the remaining military forces. A high-ranking soldier greets them with a face full of pure rage. From the shadows, the duo gazes at the heavily armed checkpoint ahead. The soldier demands to know how they survived the swarming zombie hordes. He threatens to kill the man if he does not speak up. Despite the guns aimed at him, the father remains completely unfazed. Suddenly, the guard notices something unsettling about the man's pale face. Panic sets in as the truth begins to dawn on the soldiers. They cannot believe someone would dare bring a monster to their gates. Hiding behind sunglasses, the father tries to maintain his human facade. Tension thickens as the military prepares to engage this mysterious stranger. He explains that his daughter's asthma has become dangerously severe. Desperate, he begs the soldiers to take her into their care. Former Captain Cha Hyeri appears, her reputation preceding her as Black Widow. She stares at the intruders with cold eyes and absolute authority. The captain firmly states there is absolutely no room for them. Without a second thought, she tells him to get lost immediately. Her anger flares as she questions why a monster would protect humans. Her men doubt his emotional appeal will ever work on her. However, the captain is actually moved to tears by his words. She wipes her eyes and orders the gates to be opened. She claims they just need more manpower to guard the mart. The hardened commander walks away to hide her true emotional state. The zombie father stands tall, hiding his true form from them. A small smile shows he has gained their trust for now. He bears the symbol of a soldier on his strong back. Despite her cold reputation, she possesses a hidden sense of mercy. Damie screams for her father, terrified by the sudden military presence. She questions why he ignored their original plan for this mission. A soldier tells her to be quiet while she struggles to breathe. The young girl feels dizzy as the harsh reality sinks in. He holds his daughter close, offering her a silent sense of security. He wonders why his body has changed into something so inhuman. It all traces back to the incident from a week ago. Even now, he does not fully understand this dark transformation. He finally admits the truth. He has become a literal zombie. His red eyes burn with a hunger he fights to control. He searches for the optimal survival route in this chaotic nightmare. The group stands before a massive mart filled with potential danger. He notices the suspicious damage to the corner of the building. The soldiers are confused by the sudden collapse of nearby structures. They jokingly wonder if he can actually predict the grim future. They begin to recall the terrifying events from 3 days ago. The lead soldier opens fire on the relentless zombie swarm. Countless undead creatures overwhelm the area with terrifying speed. Specialized units use zip lines to navigate the ruined city streets. A massive horde waits below, hungry for any living flesh. They detonate preset explosives to bury the monsters in fire. Heavy rubble falls, crushing every single zombie trapped within. A soldier assumes the threats are finally rotting under the debris. Suddenly, he notices his companion staring intensely into the darkness. The man senses something far more dangerous is about to emerge. His partner wonders what could possibly cause such a fearful expression. A massive, hulking shadow rises from the ruins of the building. The creature's multiple red eyes glow with pure, unbridled malice. Pure terror strikes the soldier as he witnesses the mutation. The Titan raises a massive fist to crush the intruders. A thunderous strike shatters the pavement into thousands of pieces. The brave female soldier barely evades the monster's devastating attack. This beast is clearly a mutation unlike anything seen before. She regains her footing, sensing the gravity of the situation. Without warning, the massive giant charges forward with lethal intent. Panic spreads as the soldiers realize they are completely surrounded. She immediately moves to defend her allies from the incoming threat. She shouts an order for all units to open fire. Every rifle in the squad targets the rampaging mutated beast. Lead bullets spark against the creature's incredibly dense and tough skin. The monster screams in rage, preparing its next move against them. The beast lunges forward with a terrifying roar of pure hatred. Its massive arm swings down like a guillotine through the air. One soldier falls back, paralyzed by the sheer sight of death. The giant beast towers over him, ready to end his life. He cringes in fear as the monster's shadow swallows him whole. Suddenly, a heavy bag strikes the creature right in its face. A brave woman slides in, narrowly pulling her comrade to safety. She shouts at him to wake up and keep moving forward. Her eyes burn with a fierce determination to survive this nightmare. She quickly assesses the situation while gripping her weapon tightly. With no time to waste, she orders everyone toward the mart. She silences the nervous man, demanding they focus on escaping alive. The group sprints through the darkness as the monster pursues them. Behind his sunglasses, the mysterious man's expression turns completely cold. He suddenly stops in his tracks, facing the incoming threat alone. He clenches his fist, preparing to deliver a devastating counterattack. Their plan is to trap the beast at the mart's barricade. She hopes the structure holds long enough to find a weakness. The female soldier leads the way across the shattered pavement. She realizes something is wrong when she looks through the windows. A massive crowd of terrified civilians is trapped on the floor. Innocent families and crying children are stuck inside the death trap. Her boots slam against the ground as she makes a decision. She tells the survivors to get inside while she draws attention. A tense moment passes between them under the pale moonlight's glow. The soldier demands to know why the girl is standing all alone. She cruelly suggests that her father has abandoned her to the monsters. Without a word, the young girl points toward the shadows ahead. The female officer stares into the darkness with a grim expression. Her sharp eyes narrow as she catches sight of something moving. A mysterious figure tightly clasps his hands together in a powerful grip. With a sudden burst of violence, a massive impact shakes the ground. Blood splatters everywhere as the unknown warrior crushes his enemies instantly. He raises his locked fists high above his head for another strike. The soldiers watch in utter shock at the sheer power displayed. Nearby, a man carefully shields a child's eyes from the carnage. Only a cold, severed hand remains on the blood-soaked pavement now. A heavy boot steps firmly beside the remains of the fallen creature. The mysterious man stands exhausted over a pile of defeated corpses. Sensing a threat, the female soldier aims her rifle directly at him. She whispers a soft apology before preparing to pull the trigger. Her mind flashes back to a heavy promise made to young Dami. Trembling with confusion, she shouts for the man to identify himself. She desperately wants to know who this monster slayer really is. He reveals his name is Ryu Min-seok through his bloody glasses. Dami looks on with tears in her eyes, recognizing her hero. He admits he stayed away because he feared for her safety. The barrel of the gun stays steady under the shimmering moon. Dami pleads with her father not to reveal his true identity. Revealing his secret now would make him the ultimate zombie target. The man stands his ground while facing the skeptical survivors. The soldier woman questions if he is truly an expert survivor. He claims he survived by analyzing every undead trait and weakness. He offers a friendly smile, hoping to ease the growing tension. She smiles back, but her gaze remains cold and dangerous. Without warning, she pins him against the wall with a blade. His young companion screams, but the soldier tells her to hush. The leader points out that he killed a bulletproof monster alone. She notices his red eyes look exactly like the undead creatures. She demands to know if he is even a human anymore. He calmly explains that her earlier gunshots did the heavy lifting. He claims he only stepped in to land the final blow. He explains that eaters are monsters, born from fused zombie bodies. These creatures have incredible defense, making them very difficult to kill. He reveals that the jaw was the creature's only true vulnerability. He jokingly suggests a heavy steel hammer might also work well. When asked about his eyes, he blames a rare genetic condition. He claims he hides them to avoid these exact judgmental stares. Looking her in the eye, he asks if he still looks undead. The soldier finally hesitates, her sharp focus beginning to waver slightly. They look down at the massive, mangled corpse of the creature. The schoolgirl rushes over to prevent any more fighting between them. Finally satisfied for now, the soldier turns her back on him. She orders the pair to follow her inside for their safety. However, she warns that she will be watching his every move. Outside the mart, the bodies of fallen soldiers litter the ground. Surviving troops quickly rush over to report to their superior officer. A harsh strike lands as punishment for their lack of discipline. She demands to know why evacuation orders were not followed correctly. The soldiers explain that total panic nearly led to certain death. She fiercely promises to execute them herself if they fail again. They offer a tense salute while the cold captain walks away. However, resentment bubbles within the ranks after her brutal display. Inside the mart, survivors finally find a small moment of peace. Papa sits quietly with his daughter amidst the crowd of people. She whispers her relief that his true identity remains a secret. She scolds him for lying so effortlessly to the dangerous captain. The daughter grows curious and asks if he actually knows her. Memories of the captain's past heroism flicker through his mind. He jokingly claims his daughter taught him everything about bluffing. A soft, knowing smile plays across Papa's face as they talk. He realizes that his daughter truly has taught him so much. Thoughts of their peaceful camping trips before the world ended return. Papa tells her to wait while he finds something to eat. She watches him leave, still wondering about her father's mysterious past. A reminder of his transformation lingers like the bright yellow sunglasses. She previously warned him to never reveal his nature to anyone. If the truth came out, humans would definitely try to hurt him. Her gaze is filled with deep worry for her father's safety. Papa joins the line to receive rations from the nervous soldiers. He successfully secures a crate of fresh supplies for his daughter. The crowded shelter is filled with desperate people struggling to survive. He returns to their quiet corner and calls out for Dami. He finds her curled up on the cold floor, fast asleep. Carefully, he covers her tiny body with a warm yellow blanket. His expression darkens as his inner zombie nature begins to stir. Vicious monsters are now evolving through dangerous new stages of mutation. The infection is spreading much faster than anyone could have predicted. Papa realizes he must protect his child from this growing nightmare. He questions why these creatures are suddenly undergoing such radical changes. It seems he is the primary target of this biological evolution. Outside the safe zone, the ruined city lies in eerie silence. Terrifying mutants with long tongues now hunt for human flesh. Monstrosities with extra limbs patrol the dark paths of the forest. Every creature in the horde wants him and his daughter dead. Red eyes glow in the darkness as the swarm gathers strength. One terrifying truth becomes clear as the monsters continue to advance. A massive beast lets out a blood-curdling scream into the night. Death leaps from the shadows to claim the next unsuspecting victim. To these mindless beasts, everything is just another piece of meat. He realizes he is an unpredictable variable in this deadly war. A giant mutant commands the horde, praising their grim progress. A heavy object slams down, signaling the start of a fight. He decides he will no longer hide from the monsters outside. He challenges the massive horde, ready to begin the fight immediately. He needs to finish this before his daughter finally wakes up. It is time for him to truly start cooking this horde. A long-limbed beast lunges forward with its sharp claws extended. A hulking brute follows closely behind with a terrifying roar. The first monster's head explodes upon impact with his weapon. He dives directly into the center of the undead nightmare. With a swift swing, he begins tearing through their ranks. Nothing can stop his momentum as he carves a bloody path. Undead faces are shredded by the intensity of his strikes. He moves like a whirlwind, striking down every target in sight. A powerful kick sends a zombie flying back into the crowd. He stands tall amidst the carnage he has just unleashed. A mutated arm begins to twitch with an unnatural energy. His own red eye glows as his true power finally awakens. He slams his heavy weapons down with earth-shattering strength. Tall, slender monstrosities rise to surround him from all sides. They unleash a torrent of toxic purple energy from their maws. A massive explosion of violet light consumes the entire battlefield. He bursts through the smoke, completely unfazed by the blast. Every slash leaves a trail of destruction behind his feet. He readies his dual axes for the next wave of attackers. A giant monstrosity towers over the carnage with a hungry gaze. Dozens of smaller creatures follow its lead into the fray. Bodies fall from the sky as he continues his relentless assault. A massive, bloodshot eye watches the massacre from above. Vicious monsters are tossed like ragdolls through the freezing air. A grotesque, many-limbed beast plummets toward the blood-stained earth. The creature skitters across the ground with terrifying, unnatural speed. Our hero delivers a crushing blow to the undead skull. A horrifying scream echoes from the depths of a mutation's throat. With a cold glare, he prepares to end this nightmare. Meanwhile, the morning sun hits the gates of a local mart. Inside, a young girl rests peacefully amidst the chaos outside. Her eyes slowly flutter open as the morning light reaches her. She stretches her arms, unaware of the battle that just occurred. Looking around, she finds herself safe within the warehouse walls. A muscular man approaches her with a warm, gentle smile. He presents a plate of hot food, prepared with surprising care. "You must be hungry after such a long sleep," he says. The girl looks up at her protector with wide, trusting eyes. A soft smile forms on her face as she accepts the meal. She enjoys her breakfast while the clear blue sky shines above. The supermarket stands as a silent fortress against the growing horde. Nearby, an angry voice booms from behind a closed office door. A soldier reports mysterious noises heard throughout the previous night. Outside, thousands of zombies lie dead across the peaceful landscape. The captain slams her desk, unable to believe the scouting report. The soldier insists he saw the impossible massacre with his eyes. Suspicion grows as she realizes something powerful is lurking nearby. She stares into the distance, wondering who could kill so many. Her sharp gaze narrows as she prepares to make a move. A soldier enters the office to see if she is ready. Civilians are already shouting about their desperate plans to finally escape. An old man stares in disbelief as the impossible comes true. The streets are eerily quiet with no monsters in sight. Rumors spread quickly that the zombie threat has finally vanished. Everyone begins to celebrate, thinking the long nightmare is over. Dami tells her father that the zombies have disappeared at last. He suddenly places a yellow safety helmet on her head. He warns her never to take it off for any reason. She watches in confusion as the military gathers the remaining people. The captain raises her megaphone to address the growing crowd. She confirms that every single zombie in the area was killed. Relief washes over the survivors as they shout in joy. The captain suddenly shouts for everyone to move out right now. The people are stunned, wondering why they must leave safety. She explains they received a message from a nearby unit. The signal came from the powerful 2nd Mechanized Infantry Brigade. This massive force has the strength to protect all civilians. The crowd argues that following an old radio call is suicide. They refuse to move, fearing the monsters might return soon. The captain insists they cannot hold this position much longer. She remains firm because she trusts the soldier on the line. That legendary hero is known to the military as Blue Hawk. A man protests, blaming her reckless decisions on her gender. Captain Cha fires back, demanding to know if her logic is flawed. A heavy silence falls as a mysterious man steps forward. He warns the rowdy crowd that the zombies will eventually return. The protesters mock him, questioning his expertise in this nightmare. The man's intense gaze sends a chill down the instigator's spine. A horrific vision of a bloodthirsty zombie flashes before the coward. He tells the man that staying here is just waiting for death. Terrified, the survivor asks if they can actually guarantee their safety. He honestly admits that in this world there are no guarantees. He asks if they are truly capable of surviving without protection. His piercing gaze forces the cowards to face the brutal reality. A heavy realization spreads through the entire group of survivors. Slowly, the people realize that Captain Cha was right all along. They admit that without the military, they are all dead meat. The crowd erupts in cheers, finally choosing to trust the soldiers. Captain Cha stands stunned by the sudden shift in their attitude. She can hardly believe how quickly the atmosphere has completely changed. The mysterious man stands by her side with a knowing smirk. He tells her there is no need for any formal thanks. He is no stranger to handling violent and complicated situations. Ultimately, he is doing this for his daughter's future as well. He reaches out a hand, offering a sign of mutual respect. He expresses full confidence that she can lead them to safety. Captain Che watches him, her expression softening for the first time. Together, they prepare to lead the group into the unknown. She vows to make sure every single person gets out alive. The military convoy moves slowly through the ruins of the city. Wrecked cars and debris block the path across the desolate bridge. Survivors wait in tense silence while soldiers guard the bus interior. The captain stands tall atop the truck to survey the road. A rusted sign indicates they are heading toward the Uedo district. Crossing the river feels strange, so she tells them to stay sharp. She knows this dangerous mission is only just the beginning. The captain calls out to Sergeant Shin as danger approaches them. A pack of ravenous zombies emerges and begins a wild chase. Their red eyes glow with an insatiable hunger for human flesh. She orders the civilians to turn right while they go left. Soldiers throw metal cans to create a loud and effective distraction. The clattering sound successfully lures the monsters away from the buses. It worked perfectly, and now the horde is following the truck. She tells the driver to maintain distance from the reaching claws. Thousands of undead swarm the street in a terrifying pursuit. The captain commands the driver to head toward the Solnsalm Bridge. They approach the narrow bridge as the zombies close in fast. She screams the final order for the team to act now. The truck speeds forward, kicking up a massive cloud of dust. They race toward the edge of the broken and crumbling bridge. Impact sends a decaying body flying high into the blue sky. The heavy vehicle plows through the dense pack of rotting monsters. They smash through the remaining zombies to make their daring escape. The bridge is shattered as a massive horde swarms the area. Undead monsters fill the streets, blocking every possible path to safety. A terrifying beast lets out a blood-curdling roar that echoes nearby. Suddenly, a massive construction vehicle plows through the rotting crowd. Our protagonist bares his fangs, ready to crush anything in his way. He chooses the legendary road roller as his weapon of choice today. This heavy-duty machine delivers dozens of tons of pure crushing pressure. It is truly the king of construction vehicles, built for total destruction. The weight of the roller turns the undead into bloody stains. Even mutated zombies with extra eyes cannot survive this mechanical beast. It speeds forward, leaving a trail of broken bones and gore. A massive giant leads the charge against the incoming metal monster. Nearby soldiers watch in complete shock as the mechanical chaos unfolds. Undead bodies are launched into the air like worthless rag dolls. He remains focused, knowing he must protect those who depend on him. The sound of the engine roars through the abandoned city streets. Inside the bus, the survivors huddle together in terrifying silence. She stares ahead, barely believing the insanity she is witnessing now. Her father explains that he is the only one who can help. She worries the soldiers will notice something is wrong with him. News arrives that Captain Cha's team has finally returned to base. He reassures her that he is only there to assist the military. He waves goodbye while promising to keep his true identity hidden. She watches him drive away, praying he stays safe among soldiers. The captain orders everyone to fall back as the battle begins. The massive zombie horde surges forward with terrifying speed and hunger. A powerful shockwave sends the undead flying in every single direction. The heavy machinery smashes through to reach the next objective point. They speed down the open road, leaving the carnage far behind. The group finally reaches their destination safely on the steamroller vehicle. The infantry brigade's base stands tall amidst the lush green mountains. Our hero remembers this critical checkpoint from his many past lives. Reaching Daejeon is the only way to ensure their ultimate survival. His glowing red eyes hint at a power beyond human comprehension. He must protect Damie before she is lost to the plague. A soldier thanks him for saving everyone with his expert skills. Survival is easy when you have mastered every useful life skill. Everyone is relieved to step onto solid ground within the walls. The protagonist makes a comment that catches the female officer off guard. She angrily tells him to shut up before they enter HQ. Sergeant Lee In-hui welcomes the new arrivals with a crisp salute. The protagonist is surprised that the guards were already expecting him. The female officer is shocked to hear Colonel Cha mentioned her. The sergeant mentions the colonel predicted she would cause a scene. Our hero waves to his daughter, who remains safely on the bus. She is confused by the sergeant's vague and mysterious answers. A look of pure shock crosses her face as she listens. She asks if the colonel went to handle things with troops. The sergeant clarifies that the situation is far more complicated now. He gives an awkward smile, hinting at a difficult path ahead. Legendary Colonel Cha Pengho decides to take on the horde alone. At the brigade rear gate, tension hangs heavily in the air. He checks his watch, finishing the job in 27 seconds. The soldiers watch in awe as he sets a new record. One swift move is all it takes to crush a zombie's skull. For this veteran, personal combat is far more satisfying than guns. Meet the former special warfare leader, the feared Blue Hawk. He laughs off his subordinates' concerns about getting bitten. The colonel claims his experience lets him read every monster's movement. His sharp eyes analyze their fighting capabilities in an instant. He bluntly tells his men they would only get in his way. Despite his strength, he grumbles about his aging, aching joints. He hopes for a truly capable warrior to finally appear. Suddenly, a low growl catches the seasoned commander's attention. He is surprised to see a mangled zombie still moving. The creature's glowing red eyes signal a more dangerous threat. Up in the watchtower, the guards scream in absolute terror. Peng-ho braces himself and readies his weapon for another strike. A massive explosion of gore follows his powerful axe swing. He reiterates that no enemy can hide from his sight. A demonic aura begins to radiate from the latest arrival. The colonel can sense exactly how powerful this newcomer is. Ryu Min-seok introduces himself, offering help during this crisis. Without a word, the Blue Hawk tests him with a lethal blow. Min-seok barely blocks the strike, proving he is no ordinary man. Soldiers panic as the battle between Min-seok and the colonel erupts. They cannot believe a civilian could withstand the colonel's raw power. The massive weapon shatters into pieces from the sheer impact force. The colonel stands stunned that his blade was easily destroyed. Realizing the danger, he orders his men to initiate Red Alert. Min-seok's eyes glow red as his monstrous nature finally surfaces. He makes it clear that he will not be fooled again. Min-seok reveals he knows the man's true name, Colonel Cha Peng-ho. The colonel's expression shifts to pure shock at being recognized. He discards the remnants of his weapon with a violent surge. Peng-ho realizes that simple conversation will no longer solve this conflict. The metal shards fall as the tension reaches a breaking point. He decides to speak through the language of combat instead. A fierce grin spreads across the colonel's face as he prepares. He rips off his heavy gear to move with absolute freedom. Peng-ho clenches his fist, gathering an overwhelming amount of energy. A terrifying blue aura erupts around him like a raging fire. Min-seok readies his stance, unfazed by the colonel's sudden transformation. The veteran warrior asks if Min-seok is truly ready to die. He admits that Min-seok is the craziest bastard he has encountered. With a thunderous burst, the colonel lunges across the battlefield. He descends from the sky like a hammer of pure destruction. Sirens wail throughout the base as the code red alarm rings. Civilians scramble for safety while the soldiers remain in total confusion. Captain Cha spots Captain Guok and demands a clear explanation. Captain Guok points his weapon and demands answers from Captain Cha. He mentions the monster that attacked the colonel at the gate. Shockingly, the creature actually spoke and mentioned her specific name. The name the monster used for himself was Ryu Min-seok. Guok screams for her to reveal the monster's true identity. Everyone is paralyzed as the name ripples through the crowd. The girl looks on in horror, clearly recognizing that name. We recall the moment Ryu Min-seok displayed his monstrous strength. With a single movement, he strikes the massive wall before him. The solid structure crumbles instantly under his overwhelming physical power. The colonel watches in disbelief as the wall turns to dust. He refuses to accept that a human can possess such strength. Min-seok easily tanks the colonel's most powerful offensive strikes. He counters with a kick that sends the high-ranking officer flying. Now Min-seok prepares to deliver a punch with terrifying speed. The colonel grinds his teeth while struggling to survive the exchange. Another heavy blow connects, shaking the colonel to his very core. The impact is so great that he can barely stay upright. Min-seok continues the assault without showing any signs of fatigue. They create distance as the dust finally begins to settle. The enraged colonel suddenly grabs Min-seok tightly by his collar. He asks if the boy was actually holding back his strength. Min-seok calmly confirms that he was indeed going easy on him. He warns that a serious attack would surely result in death. The colonel stands speechless as he realizes the gap in power. He reflects on how massive the difference has been since they started. Standing before him is a beast with a truly overwhelming aura. Desperate for answers, the colonel demands to know his true goal. Surprisingly, the monster calmly asks for the military's protection. The colonel bursts into laughter at such a ridiculous request. He questions why a powerful monster would ever need help. The man's gaze sharpens as he clarifies his actual intention. He explains that he is not the one requiring safety. He points toward the young girl standing among the crowd. Ryu Dami is his daughter, and she is his only priority. He pleads for the group to find refuge within the brigade. Silence hangs over the base as the sun begins to set. To ensure their safety, he is willing to negotiate any terms. He vows to do anything if his daughter is kept safe. Darkness falls over the shelter as a grim deal is struck. The colonel still cannot trust such a dangerous, unpredictable entity. He suggests isolation as the only way to ensure total control. The man agrees to be locked away in solitary confinement immediately. Inside the shelter, the civilians begin to whisper in fear. Rumors spread quickly about the monster they brought into camp. They notice his red eyes and question his strange appearance. Suspicion grows that the man is actually a sentient zombie. Now, bound by heavy chains, he sits alone in the dark. The colonel grants the survivors permission to stay under his watch. He will endure this prison for as long as his daughter breathes. Sitting in the shadows, he reminds himself he is no monster. A sudden sound at the barred window breaks his heavy silence. Damie appears with a bright smile to greet her captive father. Relief washes over him as she confirms she is perfectly safe. She explains that the military is providing for everyone's needs. Life in the crowded shelter was becoming far too suffocating. He stares at her, his eyes reflecting a mixture of emotions. Once again, he failed his promise to never draw attention. He expects to see disappointment reflecting in his daughter's eyes. Instead, she reaches through the bars to playfully bonk his head. She reminds him that his bravery saved many lives today. Damie tells him to hold his head high despite the chains. Her unwavering trust is the only strength he has left. Suddenly, she realizes roll call is about to begin. She offers one last wave before she must disappear. A soft smile finally returns to his weary face. He watches her small figure dash across the dark courtyard. She maintains a brave face for the man behind the bars. He remains at the window, staring into the empty night. But once she is alone, Damie's cheerful facade finally breaks. Her pace slows as the crushing weight of grief sets in. A heavy tear falls, soaking the cold grass beneath her feet. She weeps silently, mourning the father she cannot save yet. He stands alone, a prisoner to his own protective instincts. His eyes burn with the determination to survive this ordeal. Heavy military boots echo through the cold, silent hallway. Min-seok stands bound as the colonel steps into the light. A grim-faced commander approaches with a squad of soldiers. His calloused finger points toward Gupabal Station on the map. Sensors have detected multiple survivor signals trapped deep underground. An unidentified, strange frequency is also emanating from the station. Speed is critical, so a small elite team must be deployed. The colonel decides to lead this dangerous mission personally. He turns his gaze toward the captive father standing before him. He reminds Min-seok of his vow to protect his young daughter. Powerful muscles bulge as heavy iron chains shatter into pieces. Now free, Min-seok coldly asks when the mission will begin. A dark, confident smile spreads across the commander's weathered face. With no time to waste, they must leave right now. The desperate rescue operation at Gupabal Station finally commences. Darkness looms over the ruins of the shattered, silent city. Somewhere deep within the subway entrance, survivors await their fate. Little Dayun cries out for her mother in the oppressive gloom. Dozens of exhausted people huddle together in the cramped shadows. Her parents desperately try to hush her to avoid detection. An irritable survivor snaps at them for the child's noise. The mother offers a tearful apology to the angry, hungry crowd. Young Dayun stares blankly, sensing the tension rising in the room. She calls out again, unaware of the danger surrounding them. Terror fills her mother's eyes as the atmosphere grows increasingly heavy. The young girl reaches for an exit in the suffocating darkness. Outside, an endless horde of undead monsters prowls the ruined streets. One creature stands out with a single glowing red eye. Suddenly, a massive vehicle plows through the zombies with lethal force. The commander brags that his vehicle is tougher than a roller. He insists that speed is the only way to reach them. There are two unpredictable factors they must face during this mission. The first major obstacle is the massive cave-in blocking their path. He explains the situation clearly while his comrade listens intently. He points to a mysterious creature captured on the surveillance feed. This monster is trapped inside the facility with the remaining survivors. They realize that there is not a single second to waste. The young soldier carefully examines the data on the digital tablet. They find a ventilation shaft that might still be operational. Their plan is to infiltrate through the vents and rescue survivors. Deep inside the nest, survivors are suspended in thick, sticky webs. Countless victims hang from the ceiling like a horrific spider's larder. A mother wakes up upside down, completely disoriented and terrified. Her heart skips a beat as she realizes her horrifying predicament. She desperately calls out for Dayun, searching for her missing child. Suddenly, the webbing snaps and she falls toward the hard floor. She recovers quickly and begs the nearby survivors for any information. The woman asks an old man if he has seen her daughter. Others are too busy arguing about their own survival to help. A selfish man screams at them to untie him immediately. He hangs upside down as the woman looks on in silence. Shocked, he realizes she is the woman he had just insulted. The woman's eyes widen as she hears a familiar voice calling. She turns and runs toward the source of the desperate cry. The subway station is completely covered in massive, sticky webs. Others try to stop her because the path is clearly blocked. Another father orders his son to move faster to escape. Suddenly, the boy screams a warning as danger appears. A terrifying monster drops from above and attacks the group. The mother continues her descent into the dark, silent depths. She reassures herself that her daughter is just ahead. She reaches the bottom and shouts her child's name. A giant, bloated baby monster stares back with glowing eyes. She stands small and vulnerable against the massive spider creature. The horrifying hybrid looms over her in the dark station. It opens its bloody mouth to let out a deafening roar. Total despair takes over as she stares at the beast. She can hardly believe the nightmare unfolding before her eyes. The creature drips blood as it prepares to strike its prey. A violent explosion suddenly erupts behind the massive monster. Intense flames spread quickly, catching the thick webs on fire. Debris flies everywhere as the blast levels the station. The monster screams in agony as the fire burns its flesh. The mother collapses, her hope turning into a heap of ashes. Ultimately, they could not save a single person that day. To put it simply, everything they tried had failed miserably. Our hero stood before the ruins, realizing the situation was dire. Winning with standard human methods was no longer an option. The truth was clear: defeating this threat was basically impossible. A horrifying creature emerged from the flames, hungry for more blood. It was a twisted beast that could even mimic human faces. The system identified it as a high-rank spider-type creature. The monster let out a bone-chilling shriek that echoed nearby. Suddenly, the creature launched a sticky projectile straight at him. He narrowly dodged the attack as the ground melted behind him. The bloated monster moved with speed that defied its massive size. A heavy impact sent our protagonist flying through the smoke. He regained his footing and ignited his body with pure rage. His flaming fists rained down on the monster's hideous head. The beast opened its massive maw, filled with rows of teeth. He didn't back down, throwing everything he had into one punch. A sudden strike nearly took his head off, surprising him completely. Behind him, a distraught mother begged him to spare her son. He looked at the monster, realizing the tragedy of its origin, but the creature didn't care, showing only its predatory hunger. They clashed again in a flurry of fire and dark blood. The poor woman collapsed, overwhelmed by the horror of the scene. The monster lunged toward its next victim without a second thought. He pushed his body to the limit to intercept the attack. Death loomed close as the nightmare continued to unfold. The flaming beast lunged forward to claim its next victim. Our hero stood his ground amidst the raging inferno. His eyes burned with a fire that matched the chaos. A faint memory urged him to trust in his father. Shouting with fury, he forced himself to stand once more. The impact shattered the very ground beneath their feet. A heavy fist connected directly with the monster's skull. The creature's grotesque face twisted under the sheer pressure. It let out a hollow sound from its void-like mouth. Blood sprayed everywhere as the relentless assault continued. Each strike carried the weight of his burning rage. The beast could only utter incoherent, terrifying cries. A flaming kick sent the monster reeling back in pain. Its mangled features showed the true face of a nightmare. He declared that only one sound would leave its mouth. From now on, the beast would only be able to scream. A terrifying cry echoed through the burning, ruined hallway. One last devastating blow ignited the entire area. The giant collapsed as it let out a final, agonizing shriek. It breathed its last, uttering one final, strange sound. Elsewhere, a new wave of terror breached the heavy gates. Everyone pushed together to keep the metal entrance shut tight. If the line broke, their lives would surely be finished. One man questioned if these silent things were truly zombies. He was told to shut up and just block the door. Suddenly, the old man sensed a strange draft in the room. Thick smoke filled the air, making everyone cough and gag. One man lost his mind, screaming they would all die. The leader yelled at him to stop the unlucky talk. His son asked if he could feel the sudden change. He realized the zombies outside had suddenly stopped their attack. A massive force suddenly shattered the heavy steel door. He yelled for his father to hit the floor immediately. A muscular giant emerged from the smoke, carrying a survivor. The old man stared, asking who this mysterious warrior was. They remained frozen in shock as the stranger approached them. Meanwhile, the military prepared for the Goopa Ball station operation. They scanned a metal grate for any signs of life. A weary soldier looked up at the massive pile of rubble. A powerful captain with a wild grin supervised the area. Against all odds, 37 survivors were finally pulled out. Soldiers worked carefully to clear the heavy debris and webbing. One soldier froze when he saw something move inside. They discovered a healthy baby hidden safely in the ruins. The child smiled brightly, unaware of the surrounding horror. A young woman watched the scene with tearful, wide eyes. She stood silently among the cheering crowd of lucky survivors. The crowd praised the hero as the man of miracles. Papa the zombie hero smiled warmly at the people he had saved. Officers discussed the amazing miracle that had just taken place. The commander roared with joy, announcing that the test was perfectly passed. He looked on as the morning light touched his face. Mina walked through the cheering crowd to reach her papa. A gentle smile finally graced his weary, battle-worn features. Her eyes sparkled with relief, seeing him safe and sound. Their hands reached out to bridge the gap between them. The rescue operation concluded with 37 survivors saved from the horror. Peace returned to the living quarters as the sun began to set. A young soldier cared for his comrade, hoping for a quick recovery. He told the sergeant to rest easy before heading back out. The door clicked shut, leaving the room in a heavy silence. The sergeant lay still, battling a fever that wouldn't break. Dark, twisted veins began to creep upward from beneath his collar. Suddenly, his eyes snapped open as the infection claimed his soul. Outside, the survivors gathered under the stars to forget their trauma. Families laughed together, grateful to have survived the long nightmare. A cold drink was cracked open to signal the night's festivities. The commander's booming laughter echoed across the entire camp. He sat with Ryumin Seok, praising his incredible growth and courage. A firm pat on the shoulder cemented their bond as fellow soldiers. Min Seok was told to keep up the excellent work moving forward. They decided to keep the party simple out of respect for others. A quiet memorial stood nearby to honor those who didn't make it. The commander raised his can high to toast the fallen. He swore they would all survive this hell until the very end. The two men shared a quiet drink under the night sky. MC looked at the colonel with a deep, knowing gaze. Colonel wondered why the young man wasn't asking for his story. MC understood the painful reasons behind the colonel's grim transformation. The veteran simply nodded, acknowledging the silent understanding between them. He claimed past tragedies were stories he no longer cared for. Silence filled the air as they both stared at their drinks. His only interest now was the strength to save others. A sudden, chilling grin spread across the colonel's rugged face. He watched the survivors and said that will was everything. MC noted that despite the apocalypse, the colonel remained the same. He looked at the peaceful families and had one last question. Colonel asked why MC hadn't rushed toward his original destination. MC revealed he still had unfinished business within this military base. MC's expression darkened as a grim history flashed before them. A flash of a bloody memory haunted the colonel's mind. He remembered the bodies left behind in the pouring rain. Colonel directly asked if MC was also one of the monsters. He claimed he saw the truth just by looking at him. To him, the most difficult thing to control was a child. MC suddenly realized Captain Cha had vanished from the group. The veteran aggressively finished his beer to mask his rising tension. His daughter's voice broke the heavy atmosphere of their conversation. She looked exhausted and decided to head back to rest. MC stood up to escort her through the dangerous, dark shadows, walked silently beside Damie as she led the way home. He couldn't help but smile warmly at her innocent presence. Pung-ho watched from afar, surprised by the MC's gentle expression. The old man realized that deep down, MC was still a father. Suddenly, Pung-ho's face darkened with a grim, hidden realization. He began to formulate a secret plan for their uncertain future. He tossed a small item toward the soldier standing nearby. His eyes widened in shock as he sensed something going wrong. A pale soldier stumbled forward, gasping for air while trembling. The man coughed violently, warning everyone about a massive problem. Meanwhile, MC and Damie reached a quiet corner of the school. MC looked away, his heart heavy with secrets he couldn't share. Pung-ho knew the hardest thing to control was human emotion, especially when that emotion involved protecting a vulnerable young child. MC finally stopped and softly spoke Damie's name into the night. He turned to face her, wanting to ask a difficult question. He loomed over her and asked if she felt any fear. Remembered how he once looked like a blood-soaked nightmare. Yet, she had accepted him as her father without any hesitation. He looked her in the eye and asked if he terrified her. Shadows covered his face as he admitted his own deep terror. He confessed that he was scared every single day they shared, worried that she might eventually decide to kill him too. He admitted that pretending to be normal was becoming too difficult. Damie screamed through her tears, demanding to know the honest truth. Dad stood frozen as the weight of her words hit home. Danny gripped his arm, sensing the heavy tension between them. She looked into his eyes, asking why he seemed so distracted. He forced a shaky smile and claimed that everything was fine. As Damie walked away, a persistent cough began racking her body. She admitted the coughing wouldn't stop, causing her father deep concern. He told her to go inside while he searched for medicine. Suddenly, a dark hunger flared within his eyes, turning them red. He called her name one last time as she turned back. With a terrifying roar, he lunged toward her with lethal intent. His hand reached out like a predator closing in on prey. Damie let out a piercing scream, bracing for the impact. His massive fist stopped just inches from her trembling face. She gasped in confusion, asking her father what was happening. He slowly opened his hand to reveal a crushed, glowing mosquito. The strange insect lay dead, its venomous life snuffed out instantly. Alarms blared across the city as Code Black was officially initiated. Far away, a powerful commander watched the chaos with glowing eyes. He gritted his teeth, knowing the nightmare had only just begun. A soldier stood amidst the crowd, his body twitching with infection. The man looked up, revealing a face twisted into a grin. The commander prepared to face the rising tide of the undead. The infected soldier let out a guttural, bone-chilling scream of hunger. His jaw unhinged, exposing rows of razor-sharp teeth to the world. This monster possessed strength far beyond any normal human's peak potential. He wielded power that could easily rival an entire military brigade. With a single hand, he pinned the struggling soldier down firmly. The creature shrieked in agony as its skull began to shatter. His eyes burned with an icy blue light of pure fury. He stood over the remains, holding a severed head as warning. Turning to the survivors, he ordered them to evacuate the area. He roared at the frozen soldiers, asking if they wanted death. Terrified by his presence, the men quickly scrambled to obey him. As civilians fled, the commander remained to face the rising threat. He couldn't believe this cursed virus had breached his own brigade. His gaze hardened as he realized the gravity of the situation. Even his elite soldiers were turning into mindless, flesh-eating monsters. Suddenly, a desperate scream echoed from across the training grounds. A pack of infected soldiers lunged at the remaining healthy troops. Without hesitation, his heavy boot crushed a zombie's face into pulp. A powerful kick sent the group of monsters flying backward instantly. He grabbed a thick wooden stake to use as a weapon. The wood splintered as he drove it through a zombie's skull. He barked commands for his gear and to locate Ryumin Seoko. His terrifying face moved closer, demanding they move even faster now. The soldiers saluted and sprinted toward the armory in total panic. He tightened his grip, unwilling to let monsters ruin his territory. Every swing of his weapon carved a path through the undead. He declared that this territory belonged to him and him alone. With one final strike, he obliterated everything standing in his way. The kingdom fell into madness as he let out a guttural roar. His eyes glowed with an eerie blue light as battle rage consumed him. A zombie's skull shattered under the weight of his relentless fury. He drove his makeshift weapon straight through the heart of the undead. Blood sprayed across the snow as he carved a path through them. Suddenly, a creature lunged from the shadows, catching him completely off guard. He gritted his teeth, struggling to hold back the monster's rotting jaws. Another beast soared through the air, desperate for a taste of flesh. The man's scream echoed through the night as his survival instincts peaked. Nearby, the base went into lockdown under an urgent code, Black Alert. A father gently placed a protective helmet on his daughter's small head. He warned her never to remove it, no matter what happened next. The girl looked at him with fear, sensing the gravity of the situation. She asked her father what kind of nightmare they were truly facing. He explained that tiny, mosquito-like zombies known as mosqui were swarming. A single bite meant a slow, inevitable transformation into a mindless monster. He clenched his fist tightly, suppressing the overwhelming dread in his heart. His fear exploded into a desperate cry of defiance against their fate. His daughter gripped his arm, terrified by his sudden burst of emotion. These small creatures were merely appendages of a much larger, darker threat. The true source of the plague remained hidden somewhere in the distance. Silence fell over the desolate landscape beneath the cold, starlit sky. A female soldier reacted in shock upon hearing the dreaded name, Mosqui. Orders were barked to minimize skin exposure to prevent further infection. She whispered Ryu Min Seok's name, realizing the expert was right all along. The commander gritted his teeth, sensing the incoming disaster nearby. He confronted the young hero, desperate for a way to survive. The captain clicked her tongue, frustrated by the lack of cooperation. She ordered her unit to cover up before entering the base. The woman demanded to know where the brigade leader was hiding. A nervous soldier stuttered, unable to provide a clear answer. Suddenly, a guard on the wall screamed for the captain's attention. He reported a single zombie lurking just outside the perimeter fence. However, the creature's appearance was far more bizarre than expected. The soldier trembled as he struggled to describe the nightmare. A massive, mutated toad sat waiting with glowing crimson eyes. Its grotesque skin pulsated as it stared down the military unit. The monster unhinged its jaw, exposing a pitch-black throat. A thick cloud of insects suddenly erupted from the beast's mouth. Mutated mosquitoes filled the air, carrying a lethal viral load. The lookout shrieked as the swarm began its relentless assault. The captain stood paralyzed, watching the sky turn dark with pests. The insect pillars spiraled upward, blocking out the full moon. Terror gripped the soldiers as the buzzing grew deafeningly loud. She frantically commanded everyone to retreat into the main building. Her gaze shifted upward, noticing a swift movement in the sky. A lone figure plummeted toward the ground with immense power. The captain looked back, realizing the situation had changed drastically. A comrade shouted Ryu Min Seok's name, begging for his intervention. Ryu simply refused, claiming he was nothing more than a civilian. With a fierce glare, Ryu insisted that he was staying right there. He reached out and firmly placed a yellow safety helmet on. Ryu assured Dami that no predator could possibly harm him now. Helpless survivors looked on while a young mother held her child. Despite his bold claims, Ryu's hand shook with visible fear. Dami watched him through her goggles with tears in her eyes. He slammed his foot down to find the strength to fight. The heavy equipment hit the ground with a powerful thud. He vowed to save every single soul with his newfound power. His red eyes burned with the determination of a true hero. Then he fired a weapon that spewed fire over a wide area. All the zombie mosquitoes were burned and couldn't get past the flames.